vous êtes en contact avec votre famille qui vivait à Kiev et qui a fui. C'est bien ça?
Pas tout à fait, non. Et là, il n'a pas fui du tout.
Alors, racontez-nous, alors, quelle est votre situation?
Pour préciser un petit peu aussi, j'y reviens depuis 4 jours, en fait, de l'Ukraine. Bon, personne n'y croyait, ça c'est clair, dans ces événements-là. Alors, pour narrer un petit peu, parce qu'on dit un petit peu beaucoup de choses, exode, ceci, cela, pour narrer un petit peu le problème qui nous concerne, c'est que le conflit dure depuis 2014, ça on le sait. Il s'agit quand même de la population ukrainienne qui est martyrisée au quotidien. 2 millions de personnes. Voilà. Que les problèmes de chauffage, c'est l'hiver, sont difficiles. Le salaire moyen. Voilà, vous m'entendez?
Oui, très bien.
Voilà. Pour se chauffer actuellement dans ces mois d'hiver, c'est plus de moitié que les ménages doivent consacrer à ça. Donc la vie est très très compliquée. Donc je vois pas qu'est-ce qu'on défend. Le président et le gouvernement fantoche là actuellement, que je trouve fantoche, et pas du tout celui que Poutine soi-disant va mettre.
Vous parlez
moi, je
là
de emporté contre tout ce qu'on entend là actuellement. Les pauvres Ukrainiens, mais les pauvres Ukrainiens ils y sont. Avec ces gouvernements successifs, avec cette misère, avec cette économie délabrée.
C'est... Tu parles de Zelensky. Oui, mais vous parlez de Zelensky, vous parlez de qui? Vous parlez des...
De Zelensky, oui.
Oui. Donc vous, Ukrainienne, vous considérez que Zelensky, le chef d'État dûment élu d'Ukraine, est à la tête d'un gouvernement fantoche?
Fantoche, d'une chose, et puis la deuxième chose, c'est une personne pas du tout démocratique. Il y a quand même 4 chaînes oppositionnistes qui étaient fermées. Il y a des journalistes qui sont tués. On décrit ça pour la Russie, mais ça se passe aussi en Ukraine. Il y a quand même 4 journalistes qui sont tués depuis quelques années. Il y a un tas de choses qui se passent, on ne sait pas et qu'on ne dit pas.
Oui. Donc ce que vous dites, vous...
Il y a un tas de choses qui se passent, on ne sait pas et qu'on ne dit pas.
Oui. Donc ce que vous dites, vous... Attendez, ça m'intéresse. Ce que vous dites, vous, Ukrainienne vivant en France et qui revient régulièrement en Ukraine, c'est que finalement, les Occidentaux ont une vision un peu idéalisée avec le méchant ours russe et la gentille démocratie ukrainienne. Vous dites que c'est pas si simple que ça.
C'est pas si simple, c'est pas tout noir et tout blanc d'un côté ou de l'autre.
C'est quand même les Russes qui ont attaqué.
Je pense que monsieur de Cochereau il a l'air
quand même voir les choses avant d'avoir
juste une chose. Les proches que vous connaissez, qui sont en votre famille, qui est aujourd'hui en Ukraine, j'imagine qu'elle traverse des heures difficiles et qu'elle est aussi en train de fuir ou de se déplacer devant l'avancée des troupes russes.
Il reste à Kiev. Attendre sagement. Ils étaient empêchés aujourd'hui d'aller au bureau.
Ah oui, ça c'est sûr.
Mes proches, parce qu'il y avait des embouteillages, mais
ils iront demain.
C'est la première fois que j'entends qu'un gouvernement démocratiquement élu est un gouvernement fantoche. Enfin bon,
c'est pas blanc ou noir. C'est bien la Russie qui a regardé ce matin.
Est-ce que ça veut dire qu'il y a aujourd'hui à Kiev, je dis pas dans le Donbass, à Kiev, des Ukrainiens qui sont assez contents que les Russes interviennent? C'est ça que je dois comprendre de ce que vous me dites?
Absolument. Et puis le gouvernement aussi qui est élu démocratiquement, on ne sait pas du tout. Il y a des Ukrainiens aussi qui doutent de véracité de ces élections.
Bien.
C'est ce que je veux dire. On doute de beaucoup de choses.
Mais il faudrait peut-être dire des choses mises au point. Il y a eu une dérive sectaire de ce gouvernement. Moi, je veux bien l'entendre, monsieur de Gauchko, madame. Peut-être y a-t-il eu des dérives sectaires, peut-être il y a eu effectivement des assassinats de journalistes, mais je vous rappellerai qu'à Malte, on a aussi assassiné une journaliste. En Bulgarie, on a aussi assassiné des journalistes. Eh bien, c'est pas pour autant que on va envahir Malte, on va envahir la Bulgarie, voilà. Donc, on n'est plus au temps de la Hongrie en 56 ou de la Tchécoslovaquie en 68. Il y a un système judiciaire peut-être dit perfectible, mais rien ne peut venir justifier.
Personne ne justifie. Personne ne justifie. Non. Ce soir, il y a beaucoup d'émoi et d'émotions parce que des gens sont morts qui sont assez contents que les Russes interviennent. C'est ça que je dois comprendre de ce que vous me dites?
Absolument. Et puis le gouvernement aussi qui est élu démocratiquement, on ne sait pas du tout. Il y a des Ukrainiens aussi qui doutent de véracité de ces élections.
Bien.
C'est ce que je veux dire. On doute de beaucoup de choses.
Mais il faudrait peut-être dire des choses mises au point. Qu'il y ait eu une dérive sectaire de ce gouvernement. Moi, je veux bien l'entendre, monsieur de Gauchko, madame. Peut-être y a-t-il eu des dérives sectaires, peut-être y a-t-il eu effectivement des assassinats de journalistes, mais je vous rappellerai qu'à Malte, on a aussi assassiné une journaliste. En Bulgarie, on a aussi assassiné des journalistes. Eh bien, c'est pas pour autant que on va envahir Malte, on va envahir la Bulgarie. Voilà. Donc, on n'est plus au temps de la Hongrie en 56 ou la Tchécoslovaquie en 68. Il y a un système judiciaire, peut-être est-il perfectible, mais rien ne peut venir justifier.
Mais personne ne justifie, vous avez rien à dire. Personne ne justifie. Non. Ce soir, il y a beaucoup d'émoi et d'émotions parce que des gens sont morts en Ukraine. Alors,
dans le Donbass.
Voilà, donc, et dans le Donbass, si vous voulez, partout. Voilà, et que c'est difficile pour les gens d'entendre. Finalement, ce système ukrainien, il n'était pas parfait, il était corrompu, et on tuait aussi des journalistes, etc. Sous-entendu, tant mieux. Donc,
on ne voit pas devenir avec ce gouvernement-là actuel en Ukraine, au niveau économique, au niveau social.
On renverse un gouvernement démocratique.
Oui. Enfin, là, oui, le truc, c'est qu'effectivement, comme dit Patrick Martin-Genier, si on n'est pas satisfait, on renverse le gouvernement par des biais d'élections, mais on n'a pas besoin d'une invasion russe pour changer les choses. Mais merci, Victoria. En général.
En février 2014, contre un président élu. Rappelez-vous de ça quand même.
Comment?
En février 2014, il y a eu un coup d'État contre un président élu.
We have proof in this video. It's going to blow your mind. And then lastly, we have this patriot, homosexual patriot, believe it or not, because, you know, a lot of people out here think that homosexuals are against us. That's not true at all, and I want you to understand that and know that. This guy at the end is going to blow your mind. He basically explains everything going on, Putin's stance, Russian stance, and he literally nails it on the head. So please stay tuned, watch these videos. They'll blow your mind, and it'll explain this whole thing with this whole situation. So I think that it's proof, and I think it'll help us make a bigger picture, better picture of what's going on, easier to understand.
The illegal trade in human organs is thriving in Ukraine, and authorities are struggling to bring the problem under control. The country's medical infrastructure means it's still too difficult for people to get hold of vital body parts through legitimate means, meaning many turn to the black market. Artis Alexei-Reshevsky takes up the story.
Yelena's father died in March last year. However, a couple of months ago, she received a surprising call from the local police.
The police told me that my father's eyes were removed from his body to be sewed, as if they were from a donor. We didn't notice anything at the funeral, as those who did it disguised their actions. I was told that the morgue employees did that, not the doctors, and that a total of 190 dead had their organs removed.
Tissue from eyes can be used for up to a week after death and is vital in helping those in need of surgery.
Such surgery can be performed by any eye surgeon. If there was a state tissue bank, then the specialist would take the available cornea from there and transplant it to a person. But Ukraine has no tissue bank. That's why those in need either go abroad or turn to illegal surgeons.
The Ukrainian authorities launched an investigation into the case of Elena's father, which for some reason has become secret. From shipping bones of the dead abroad to unlawfully extracting stem cells from the newborns, lately the illegal donor market has been thriving in Ukraine. Several top specialists of Ukraine's leading surgery institute are currently on trial. They are accused of conducting more than 50 illegal donor surgeries. Over the past decade, cases like this have turned Kyiv into Europe's capital of illegal transplants. Doctors are pushing hard to change the 1999 law and are attempting to create a United States tissue bank. This, they say, will oust illegal surgeries for good, but even optimists say this may take years. Alexei Reshevsky, RT, reporting from Kyiv in Ukraine.
We're at usembassy.gov. This is official taxpayer-funded, military/political situation here. So, Ministry of Defense, COVID-19 Response Assistance, Laboratory TRP has upgraded many laboratories for the Ministry of Health and the State Food Safety Consumer Protection Services Ukraine, reaching biosafety level 2 in 2019. two laboratories, Kiev and in Odessa, right? So this is definitely a real deal. There are these labs there. And so what are they looking at? Risk assessment for selected avian flus. Okay, cool. Prevalence of Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever virus and hantavirus in Ukraine, and potential requirement for differential diagnosis of suspect leptospirosis patients, right? And so some more swine flu stuff, and then biosurveillance risk assessment, right? So there is a high degree of technology, I would imagine, there, and training, as well as engineering, deconstructing, CRISPR gene editing, and potentially gain of functioning of these viruses. And the one that's very important here is the one about Congo hemorrhagic fever. I also think that is that is Ebola, is it not? A type of weaponized Ebola. So let's get to the claims here. So I just kind of took some screenshots in my document word processor here, and let's give you a quick history lesson. In 2018, Russia claims that the U.S. is running a secret bioweapons lab in Georgia. Vladimir Yushchenko is from the Associated Press is talking about how Russia is alleging that there are secret labs there. So, you know, at the one hand, we have this noble mission of going out there to help stop the spread of bio stuff. But our friends in Russia are saying, no, you're creating bioweapons labs. And as we detailed in my previous video of Almaty, Kazakhstan, that isn't exactly the case. So as soon as February 24th, a post that I snapped here on Twitter, here's a map of all the verified Russian attacks on Ukraine as of 3:30 a.m. Just a reminder that Putin's claiming whatever. But there's all the, the attacks, I guess, just kind of take a look at all the damage and all the shit that's going down there, right? Kiev, lots of attacks, reported attacks. And then how does that overlay with this right here? So U.S. biolabs in Ukraine. So we got them in Kiev, we got them in Odessa, right there on the border of Russia, another one right here on the border of Russia. So it looks like right here in the Donbass, the Lugansk and Donetsk regions, they took over those labs. And we're not even getting into the nuclear stuff. We're just talking about the bioweapon stuff. I think I found out why you guys are so interested in Ukraine. What exactly would a mistake bioweapons lab be located anywhere near, let alone 8 of them, right? So I definitely think that this story has a lot of legs to it. And I'm very concerned that immediately after, this story making the runs on social media, on various platforms, look at the date of this, within 24 hours, official New World Order, fact checking through USA Today and PolitiFact is out there, not only monitoring tweets, but counter narrativing these tweets, right? Twitter user by handle War Clandestine, that's the story I read, spread a story on the 24th that Russia has targeted the sites of U.S.-run biolabs. It began invading Ukraine. So that account was quickly suspended by Twitter, and others shared the post and began using the hashtag US Bioweapon Lab. So if you type that in Twitter, you'll probably be put on the list, but you can start to see some of the stuff, right? So the fact that they suspended that account on Twitter is very sus. There are no U.S. military labs in Ukraine. Okay, that's bullshit, because we just went to the DTRA. This is, U.S. Embassy.gov. We went to DTRA mail.strategy. We talked about at DTRA, the biological, U.S. Embassy.gov. They're looking at hemorrhagic fevers and avian flus and things like that, right?
Russia stands against the progression of the New World Order. Russia is the only country that does not have a centralized bank that is run by the Rothschild Luciferian family. Russia does not play with the Freemason society. The president of Russia, President Putin, is not a Freemason. The globalist cabal that is run by Charles Schwab, the Rothschild family, the Rockefeller family, the Chase family, the Russell family, cannot be controlled, and therefore we are always at war with the big bear, Russia. Think about it. Russia is the only place they could not put a centralized bank because every single leader in Russia was at war with the Rothschild families. The Rothschilds own all of the centralized banks, and every single country, think about this, that has refused the Rothschild putting in one of their banks, meaning they control the currency of that country, we've gone to war with. Why is it that Trump didn't have a problem with Putin? Was it because he was a Putin puppet? Or was it because Trump, like Putin, did not want to stand with the New World Order? Now, the moment they stole the election in 2020, and if you don't believe it was stolen, you live under a damned rock. Okay? So the moment they stole the election in 2020, the New World Order immediately swept in and put Biden in office. What has Biden done in office but destabilize our economy? Inflation is at an all-time high. He withdrew the troops from Afghanistan, leaving billions of dollars of our equipment that our tax dollars paid for. Okay, and now they are selling off our armament at the highest bidder, including weapons of mass destruction. Now, think about this. Why would Trump, 4 years in office, keep us from all wars? We weren't in a war. He didn't lead us to war. The president before him, Obama, we were in war. The president before Obama, Bush, we were in war. The president before him and before him and before him, all the way back to Carter, in war. The United States is being used and has been used since its inception for a war machine for the profiteers of Europe. The people like Charles Schwab, who are sitting at the very top of the economic forum talking about a united globe, a one-world currency, a microchip to which will be implanted in the back of the hand and in the forehead of all citizens of the globe in the New World Order. We are dealing with Luciferian New World Orderists, and the only president now that is standing against it is President Putin. Why is it that when Trump was in office and he met with President Putin, shortly following their meeting, President Putin takes the stand in Russia, and it translates, and I speak, that he stated that the West was run by demonic Luciferian cabal members. He literally stated that the West was run by demonic, I'm saying it again, Luciferian cabal members. The people that run the Federal Reserve, the people that sit at the top of the Bilderberg Group, the people that are at the very top of the CIA cult that runs all kinds of programming that are demonic in nature. Just look up MK Ultra. Just look up Jonestown Massacre. Just look up all of what's programmed coming through Hollywood. Watch the documentary Out of the Shadows on BitChute. You will understand that we are not fighting Russia. We are not fighting President Xi of China. We are fighting against the New World Order progression, the rise of the Antichrist, the One World Order, the One World Banking System, the One World Religion. And President Putin is standing against it. Isn't it funny that they call us conspiracy theories when the conspiracies and the conspirators are doing things in broad daylight? And then the moment any one of us wants to speak out about it, we're conspiracy theorists. No, baby, we are conspiracy realists. Because the difference between a conspiracy theory and the actual reality of the fruition of that conspiracy is 6 months, is what they say. So give it time. Everything's that the loud mouthpiece Alex Jones that got censored from all of the social media platforms has talked about has come to pass. Everything he has screamed from the mountaintops about the new...
That's because he is one, and just like a lot of these people, they grew a conscience, and for how long now? The past couple years, there's been this huge explosion, this huge truth explosion, and conspiracy theorists aren't nuts anymore. UFOs are real. Preach on, brother.
New World Order coming. The rise of the inflation. He even predicted years ago that they would put in another puppet in office, that Trump would not win a second term, even though Alex Jones was for Trump and marched against the election fraud. I was with him here in Atlanta. I met Alex Jones. I met him in Washington, D.C. on January 6th when the supposed insurrection happened. There was no damned insurrection. That was nothing but a fraud so that the Congress and the Senate would get off free and clear with appointing their puppet in office. If you understood what was going on, if the United States would ever wake up to the fact that we are run by a globalist cabal, there would be no silence in the streets. If you knew what they really were doing by trafficking our children, 800,000 of them, to the highest bidder across the globe, all of the rich elite would not survive what would come. There would be people in the streets assassinating these people. People like Oprah, people like Ellen DeGeneres, people like Clive Davis, the head of Arista Records and the head of Sony Records. People that work for BlackRock, which controls all of the media. People that work at the bureaucracy of Washington, D.C. and the Capitol. People that supposedly work in the White House. But the White House hasn't been inhabited by anybody since the election of Joe Biden. Explain that. Something nefarious is going on, but I do believe that the good people, and I'm not saying that President Putin is good, he has his evil faults, but what he is doing is he's going into the Ukraine, where, by the way, there is an energy company that Biden's son sat on the board of, Chuck Schumer's son sits on the board of.
And yes, Luciferians, right? What have I been saying? We paid for this, okay? We have been funding Putin to do what he's doing. Now, this is exactly how Luciferians work, okay? Is what they do is they create a problem. And then they come in and act like they're the solution to the problem. And it makes them look like this big hero. But in reality, there wouldn't have been a problem if the person didn't create one to begin with. But then again, then their name wouldn't be said. They wouldn't get the attention. These people don't care what kind of attention they get, just as long as they're getting it. Why do you think all of these puppets out in Hollywood and everything never get in trouble? Slaps on the wrist. And guess what? What's going on in society right now? Murderers are being set loose into the streets. These people didn't predict these things. These people knew what was to come because this agenda was pre-written. And it has been well known through these secret societies, the plan and what to do. It's not that these people were prophets or anything. It's that these people knew what to come, saw that it was happening, grew a conscience, and they are begging God to forgive them for their sinful ways that have already been told that they may not be forgiven, because you shouldn't have been doing that shit in the first place. Just because you're exposing child traffickers doesn't negate you raping all those children. And that's why, brothers and sisters, these people can't get any further, can't go anywhere else. They're stuck in their anger, screaming at a camera, begging you to listen to them. When you got people like me and like this dude right here being silenced. But then again, they're creating platforms for people like Alex Jones, right? People like Trump, they're creating platforms for them. By the way, ad platforms.
Nancy Pelosi sits on the board, or her daughter and son sit on the board of. So why is that in the Ukraine, and why are we fighting against Russia, and Russia's going in? Could it be that President Putin, who stands against the New World Order, is going in to clear out the mess? Unfortunately, there are innocent people dying. That happens every time there is a war.
Here, you want to know a well-known secret? Putin has a weapon called an EMP, an electronic pulse weapon. It is big enough. One, he has the submarine to sneak into anywhere he wants to, under sonar and all sorts of shit. This missile that he can launch up can go right over top of a country Because remember, we live on a plane. We don't live on a ball. We live on a plane. So detonated up in the sky coming straight down could cover a large area. And it's been known for the past 10, 15 years that the person that has this weapon is Putin. The occult and everybody has known this. You'll hear people like in the ancient alien world, what are those people's names? Like Corey Goodman and all them people. They'll sit there and they'll tell you all about it. And it's not because they're prophets. It's because they are the occult. It's because they know, because they have been told, because they were in the know.
But you have to look, you have to stop watching the media. All I'm seeing is President Putin on my timeline, and oh, pray for Ukraine. No, you need to start praying against the New World Order and the advancement of the RFID chip and the advancement of the globalist bankers. You need to start praying against what really matters. Do you understand that? Unless you like being a slave to the New World Order, unless you like in the next coming years an RFID chip being mandatory like they're trying to mandate the injections. I have been following all of this. I am not a theorist. All you have to do is watch the World Economic Forum. I watched Charles Schwab talk about how that they were getting ready to implement globally the RFID chip. And then all of a sudden we go to war with Russia. Russia. Are you paying attention to the bigger picture? We are not at war with Russia. We have never been at war with Russia. Hell, the Ukraine is not at war with Russia. This is a game for the globalist elites. They put us into wars to usurp the people's thoughts, to usurp our will, in order for them to implement their globalist agenda. Oh my God, wake up. Wake up. The people that are watching are saying spot on because we know that there's something bigger. Every time something pops off on the media, like propaganda to the puppets, they're talking heads. Why does the media immediately always say the same thing? Because they are owned by 4 corporations that is run by the CIA that has puppeteer players as mouthpiece doing what's called Operation Mockingbird, where, like the telephone game, you start news of Russia, war in Ukraine, and you have the whole country talking about it, and the whole world talking about it, while the globalists are moving chess pieces on the board. Like, I'm so sick to death of the media, and so sick to death of all of social media that keeps parroting, that keeps echoing like echo chambers, this fake news. This fake news. Isn't it funny that if Trump would have been in office and there would have been a real war where Russia was invading the Ukraine, he would have immediately taken the podium? Within hours, he would have taken the podium and did a press conference. Why is it that Biden is delayed by 3 days in giving a press conference while Russia is supposedly invading the Ukraine? Think about what is going on. Think about it. Use your head. Use your reasoning. If you have not been injected and you're not fucked up by the injection, excuse my French, I said it. Use your reasoning. You're not programmed. Open your mind. Begin to read a little bit instead of turning on CNN and MSNBC and ABC, The View, and all of the other garbage these 4 corporations that run them are spewing. This is why so much of our nation is divided. This is why we can't get anything done. This is why the truckers' convoy in Ottawa, Canada, actually was the one that put the boot on the neck of Justin Trudeau. This is why we can't get our act together to put the boot on the nation's capital here in this country. Because we're so divided. We're divided because the media keeps dividing us and holding a little carrot above the people's head. Now it's Russia, Ukraine. Isn't it funny that the election cycle's coming and all of these Democrats that pushed for mandates, that pushed for totalitarianism, that pushed for lockdowns, perpetual lockdowns, to which they controlled everything. Isn't it funny that they're up for election in 2022 and all of them are lifting the mask mandates and the injection mandates? Why is it that they say they follow the science and then all of a sudden election year rolls around and they're lifting the mandates all over the country in every blue state? Why? Why is it that the media refused to cover the Ottawa truckers convoy that had 100,000 plus truckers roll into the Capitol and not move for 3 weeks until the Prime Minister, who, by the way, is Fidel Castro's son, do the research and was put in place by the globalist, would not lift the mandates. And they fought for a week at Parliament, going back and forth, while he brought in the military. Why is it that the media didn't cover it? Why is it that when the media covered it, it was these racist men flying Nazi flags going into Ottawa, Canada? When in reality, that is the furthest from the truth. Why is it that the media refuses to cover that right now there's over 200,000 truckers called the Freedom Convoy going from California, Michigan, Ohio, Chicago, Florida up, Texas up, Alabama up to the Washington Capitol? Over 200,000 in counting, and the numbers are growing daily, including farmers. The media is not covering it. But the truckers' convoy is riding right now in this country. So you will see food shortages because of that. You will see all kinds of things happen. How can we prepare? We should have already prepared. But until the masses wake up to the delusion that we have been wrought and we have been dictated by the Washington bureaucracy for decades, a bunch of pedophiles, a bunch of old, white, and even black pedophiles that
they've been preparing the whole trucker thing. Before the trucker convoy started here in America, it was need truckers. It's been need truckers for the past year. They've been hiring like crazy. Anybody can get a trucker job in the U.S. right now. And it's been like that for a hot minute. And all these trucking companies, they got all these new trucks and all the old ones. They've got plenty. They are running. My brother is a coast-to-coast truck driver. People not working, it has nothing to do with anything but the company they're working for. That's it. There's plenty of them out there.
that are sacrificing our children, that are warmongering, frothing at the mouth to make profit off of war after war after war, and we allow them to sit and walk amongst us freely. Every last one of them, from Bill Gates to George Soros to Bill and Hillary Clinton to Barack and Michelle Obama to George Bush and his wife, to every single senator that placated, to every single House member that is a part of the scripted reality known as the Washington bureaucracy, should have been locked up and prosecuted, and not only prosecuted, but hung by the neck until dead. That is how you treat treasonous.
Remember, Trump pardoned. No, don't give me, I don't know the name and all that, but Trump laid out some pardons of some straight up pedophiles. Straight up. Don't be glorifying Trump. Because that's what these people want to do. They want to glorify Trump. It's another reason why people are going to stay where they are. And they will not move forward. Like you watching this will. It's all still a game, people, no matter what side you pick. Left wing, right wing, same bird.
The book of Daniel, chapter 12, and verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, that great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered.
Yo, Gerard, you know what time it is?
we move at light speed. You can't hear what you can't see. My Akis move at light speed. Long as I'm living, I'm a labor. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Put in the work. Tunnel vision never in reverse. My Akis move at light speed. I move too fast to compete. I can do this in my sleep. Wake up and write down what I seen. Light speed. Back in the building, I'm with Bandit Loose. We gon' push this unity like we supposed to. The Messiah made us free, so we gon' tell the truth. In the spirit, bear witness, you know that we them bruised. Keep a sword on me. Perilous times. 4 horsemen mounting up, I can tell it it's time. No matter what they offer, I won't compromise. Why would I do that when I see all the signs? Put the Father first in whatever I do. Keep them serpents guessing, don't ever tell them your moves. Keep some oil in your lamp, it's time to show and prove. We study the prophets, not what's on the news. It's looking like the days of Noah again. Babylon, Egypt, Sodom, and Gomorrah again. They say the truth hurts, we gon' bring the pain in the Savior's name. Light speed, we leveled up, we couldn't stay the same. Bring it out. And we move at light speed. You can't hear what you can't see. My Akis move at light speed. Long as I'm living, I'm a labor. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Put in the work. Tunnel vision never in reverse. My Akis move at light speed. I move too fast to compete. I can do this in my sleep. Wake up and write down what I seen. Light speed.